Hey, Robertson Chapel, welcome back to the Bible reading plan. Today we are in Mark 11, and I just want to go over a couple things with you today on Mark 11. I hope you've read it, and we're going to dive right on in as always. And this is the second time we see Jesus entering Jerusalem, and this is we're getting into the last week of his life again, and we did it once in Matthew, and we're already in that in Mark. And what we see here as he enters, he decides to take a donkey, a colt, a foal of a donkey. So it's a young donkey, and I did a little research on young donkeys, and it turns out that you cannot ride these things. They will not let you. They haven't been broken yet. So it's just kind of amazing that Jesus says, go get this donkey, this beast that is just untamed, and I'm going to ride that into Jerusalem. And I'm sure when the owners saw the disciples, going out and getting the donkey, and at first they were probably like, "What are you doing, stealing my donkey?" They said the Lord needed it, and they're probably saying, "Why on earth does the Lord need that?" And just two things that I see in this is authority and humility. I think it shows Jesus' great authority that he rode a donkey into Jerusalem, a beast that was not tamed, that was not broken in, and he rode that into Jerusalem to show he had authority over everything. He also rode it in to show humility. He showed, this is a beast of burden, as Isaiah says. It is not. I'm not riding in on a big horse. I'm not a flashy king. I came to serve. I came to give my life. So I'm going to willingly. We see that in his authority by taming this beast with his authority. But then we see humility by choosing to ride into into Jerusalem on a humble animal, on a lowly animal. And I think that's just kind of, those are two words that shape the gospel for me, is authority. Jesus had authority to give his life, and he had authority to give his life and stay on that cross, but he also had humility in it. He came to serve, not to be served. And I just think that's so amazing that we see that. And then I think we get a clearer view in this chapter on the story where Jesus curses the fig tree. And I love it because we have it on two accounts, but this account is my favorite time it's mentioned because, on the other account, it's just the story right there. But this one, it's spliced between two things. So it starts in verse 12. On the following day, when they came from Bethany, he was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to see if he could find anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not season for figs. And he said to him, "No, may no one ever eat from you again." And the disciples heard it. So Jesus is, seeing this thing from afar that should be bearing fruit, that looks like it's bearing fruit, but when he gets there, it actually isn't. And then we go and we see Jesus cleansing the temple and accusing the religious leaders of, looking like from afar, like they are doing the Lord's will, but when they get up close, they actually are not. And Jesus, I think that fig tree is almost a threat to them, because it says in verse 20, as they passed by in the morning, they saw the fig tree withered away to its roots. And Peter remembered and said to him, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree that you cursed has withered." And then Jesus goes on and says some remarkable words there. But this is what I want to end on today, is verse 25. He says, "And whenever you stand praying, forgive, if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father also, who is in heaven, may forgive your trespasses." And the Bible tells us that we need to forgive, because if we are in unforgiveness, then it can hinder our prayer. He says, if you go to sacrifice something on the altar, this is Jesus talking, like, if you're giving something on the altar and you remember that you have something against a brother, do not give the sacrifice. Get up and go make things right with the brother, and then come back and give your offering. But I think Jesus is saying, and we hear again in the Bible that unforgiveness can hinder our prayers. So I just want to encourage you today, if there's any unforgiveness in your heart, I would like to encourage you to seek that forgiveness for the sake of the glory of God. We have. We may have some reasons to harbor unforgiveness in our heart, but it's no reason compared to how much Christ has forgiven us, and how much God has forgiven us for. We have harmed Christ so much more than anyone has ever harmed us, and that's just truth. So just remember that as we go out through today, that, like if you know of someone that you could forgive or that you're harboring unforgiveness with, it might be hindering your prayer life. It might be hindering your relationship with God. It might be hindering your relationship with other people. You might be taking that out on other people. So I would like you to just pray today for God to show you if there's any unforgiveness in your heart. But I thank you for joining me today in the Bible reading plan, and I'm excited to get into Matthew 12 tomorrow. Have a good day.